The painting The Gluttonous Rich Man is a masterpiece and a tragic story. Danhauser tried through his paintings to be the voice of the voiceless, workers, peasants, the poor and the homeless. Although the Austrian painter Joseph Danhauser did not live more than 40 years, 1805 to 1845, his work sparked widespread controversy because they dealt with social and moral issues, which angered the nobility and influential people, causing the aristocracy to completely ignore his works, and he was one of the outcast painters among his peers. Through his paintings, Danhauser tried to be the voice of the voiceless, workers, peasants, the poor, the homeless, and even prostitutes who took this crooked path under the pretext of financial hardship. Looking at his paintings, a clear and explicit philosophy that does not accept interpretation appears to us from between the folds of the canvas and colors, which is that others besides us dream of a small amount of what we enjoy. Perhaps the most expressive of Danhauser's paintings of this philosophy is The Rich Glutton, painted in 1836. The painting is full of details that evoke both irony and pity. A rich man stands in the center of the painting, the hero of the scene. He wears clothes that express his social status and a lot of jewelry, and drinks a glass of wine, in front of a table with food on it. In complete contrast, a poor man stands in tatters, and extends his hat towards the master in the hope that he will give him a few bites. Advertisement. The contrast also includes another image of a servant who may have been brought as a slave from one of the countries occupied by the English, standing in astonishment as he looks at the poor man who has managed to reach the dining room through the open balcony. The servant carries a bottle of wine to the master, who stands in the middle of the painting, raising his empty glass, and probably waiting for more. Returning to the center of the painting, we find the gluttonous gentleman surrounded by two women, one of whom stands indignant at the sight of the poor man who has entered through the balcony, leaning toward her rich master while placing her hand on his robe. The woman is wearing a dress that indicates her social class, in addition to the jewelry in her hands, and looks at the poor man as if he is a source of threat. Masses enter the stage of history. Since the French Revolution, the working or poor classes have been viewed with suspicion as a source of threat. This became more acute during the Industrial Revolution, when the bourgeoisie, the liberal center, and the conservative right viewed the less fortunate as a time bomb that could explode at any moment. The same view was held by leftists towards the poor as a winning card that could overthrow the bourgeois stability of 19th-century Europe. This growing anxiety pushed the working classes onto the stage of art, as well as the stage of history and politics, and perhaps this is why the woman on the right of the scene looks at the poor man in terror, as if he were a ghost about to finish her off. While the other, the one in the yellow dress sitting on the left, completely ignores his presence and turns her entire body towards the gentleman playing the music, who is staring at her, as if no one had just entered from the balcony. Unparalleled skill. Danhauser's works are world-class masterpieces in terms of their drawing skill, precision of detail, and the transmission of powerful narrative content. He was also known for his precise use of colors that, despite their light shades, do not conflict with the sad story of the work. We see in the painting a precise drawing of very intricate details, such as the belongings of the bourgeois family from silverware to luxurious hats and gold jewelry. We see a dog crouching under the wooden seat, on a carpet with fine details, as if it were real. The same applies to the rest of the furnishings, from the curtains and chair fabrics to the dresses, and even the robe of the rich man standing in the middle of the painting, eating and drinking greedily while wearing a few gold rings. We also find that Danhauser painted 3 other paintings within the large painting, which are of a still life nature that decorate the walls of the luxurious room. The subjects of the 3 paintings are suitable as independent paintings in themselves. This painter gained the reputation he deserved before his death, despite the bourgeois discontent he faced at first. He became famous in the 19th century for his precise style, his unique talent, and his narrative styles in painting. Today he is considered one of the leading European painters who lived at the height of the Industrial Revolution.